Alright guys, so I just wanted to walk you through getting started with Tailwind when you use the referral link that I gave you guys. So I'm just in an incognito window. I have lots of Pinterest accounts. Some for sites I haven't even started yet. Anyway, mostly because I wanted to reserve the name. But anyway, so when you go to the link, you should see, hooray, you've got a $30 credit from one of our members waiting for you. So you click Get Started, and then enter the email and password to authorize the app. Okay. Sign in. Oh, so see, as soon as I go to Pinterest, it's asking me to authorize the app. So I'm going to do that. See if it takes me back or if I have to jump back. It took me back. Perfect. Let's see if it connects this time. Ta-da! So then you just need to set up your email and password for Tailwind. I'll just create one. I'm a blogger or small business and get started. Okay, so you can install a Chrome extension. Required to schedule pins. Okay, whatever. Okay, yeah. So then it's going to walk you through a little tutorial about the extension a little bit. So it would show up here. So if I were to actually go to my non-incognito window, you'll see I have the Tailwind extension here, which is great. So what it does, let me go ahead and log in. Like I said, I don't know that I have anything set up with this Pinterest, but yeah, see, there's like nothing going on. What I could do, so say productivity tips. I can't type. Okay, so what's great about Tailwind, and there are many things great. I just tend to prefer Board Booster because it lets me do things a little more on autopilot. But Tailwind does let you easily schedule tons of pins at once. So what you do is you kind of load up the page, and then you click the Tailwind extension, and now everything's like available to be pinned at once. Okay, so if I want to pin these, look good. Time management, increase productivity, break up with procrastination. So, you know, just a handful of pins to start. I'm going to hit go schedule. And then it's pulling up my other Tailwind accounts that actually have my paid accounts rather than the free one because I'm not in the incognito window. But I would be able to go ahead and I could type a board name. So I think I actually have like a random secret board. And it would apply it to all of these. Okay. And then I could just hit schedule. Or save for later if you want to save for later. Now this one doesn't have a URL, so I'd probably want to get rid of that one because I don't want to be pinning stuff that doesn't have URLs. Okay, so you would hit save or schedule. So let's go back to this. So here's our demo pin. So all pins start as a draft, so you can just type a board name and it will pull up all of your boards. And it also pulls up board lists, which I'll get to in a second. All right, let me do the pin description. And then where the URL goes to. Make sure that the URL is right. And then add to queue. Okay. We don't actually want to do that. So see, it tells you, don't worry, this won't be pinned live. It's just a test pin. And then it just walks you through setting up some of these things. So what I would do is I'd go to your schedule. So you want to set up how many times a day it's pinning, and it defaults to like 5, which is a little low for me. I mean, it's actually probably a lot for this account because it has no content, But for my other accounts, 5 would be too low. So I would want to generate a new smart schedule. And if you look at these times, they're kind of later in the day because usually that's the best time to pin to Pinterest. And so when you do a smart schedule, it actually will pull together the best times during the day to pin your content. I'm going to do it 30 times a day. And you can always add and change these. You could add a time slot if you wanted to. Okay, and then board lists are what I mentioned before. So I'm actually going to jump back to one of my other accounts that actually has different boards. So when I go to board lists, and actually I need to redo these anyway because I had recently decided I was going to start using them in conjunction with Board Booster, and since I've now put Board Booster on pause, I need to clean these up. So I would want to type in, see, this is what I'm talking about though, is you can group boards so that you don't have to type in each board when you know it's going to go to all of them. So if I wanted it to always go to all of my personal finance basics boards, it would. And you can see these are blue because they're my personal boards. Group boards are green. It's actually a group board I own, so that's why it's on there easily. And purple would be secret boards. So what you can do and what I would suggest doing is grouping by topic and then also by how many times a day you can pin to that board. So some boards have rules like you can only pin once a day or only up to 3 times a day. And just helps you keep track of how many times you're pinning because you can use intervals. It's not as easy as Board Booster in this regard, but it helps. It's better than manual pinning. So maybe I do personal finance boards one time a day. And I know, assuming I'm still posting that. And so say these are all boards that are like once a day that I can pin everything to. Actually, I think Money Conscious is. Okay, so when I want to go to a draft, I've got some in here. No idea what they are. Oh, they're the productivity tips. So say I want to make sure this goes to those boards, but only one of them. And only once per day. So, I mean, you could do them all. You could do them all just at once, like add a queue, and then this would go to that board, to Fabulous Frugal Living, that the next slot, and this would go to Money Conscious, the next slot. But you don't necessarily want that because then it's just the same board pin everywhere, right? And it can seem, it's not going to register as spammy because Tailwind's totally fine to use. But to people that are like in a lot of the same group boards as you, they're going to be like, oh, I just saw this pin. So you can actually use intervals if you want to schedule it like one day apart. So on day 1, it goes to Fabulous Frugal Living. On day 2, it goes to Money Conscious. You can make it further than one day. You can just say optimized, pin at the optimized times rather than the open time slots, however you want to do it. And then what you do is on the next one, do the same thing and use the interval. But you can say, you know what, I want this one to start tomorrow so that on the 9th, I've got a pin going to Fabulous Frugal Living, and then on the 10th, it goes to Money Conscious, right? So it's you're still only doing one pin per day, but you're not like doing the same pin every day. If that makes sense. But that's kind of a pain in the ass. So if it doesn't bother you to do the same pin every day, you totally can. Another thing you could do, now I had to ask them specifically for this, is they do have a Canva integration. So when I do create new pin, I can upload image, I can pin from Instagram, I can do the Chrome extension, but I also have design a pin. And I had to ask them to turn this on, so you might need to do this as well. I'm pretty sure it won't show up in this sort of, so when I do create new pin here, my only options are upload and the Chrome extension. So, it helps if I'm actually in drafts. But but those are my only options. So I had to ask them to turn this on, but if you just submit a request, they should turn it on for you. Now, one of the good things is it lets you just design pins within Tailwind, but one of the drawbacks is it doesn't save those designs for you in your Canva account. So you don't want to so when you go in here, you don't want to like create a pin and hit yes, publish until you're absolutely sure because you can't just like go back and edit it because it just puts it into Tailwind. So you want to make sure it's actually, make sure it has that logo and there's no typos. Excuse me, I'm recording this very early in the morning. I'm yawning. So you want to edit it, and then when you go to publish, because you won't be able to go back and edit it. So just make sure it's really on par. It's how you want it before you hit that publish button. I'll throw on a logo just to show you what I mean. I have a gazillion logos, clearly. Okay, yep. I'm not trying to make it the image come down. Okay, so let's say I hit publish. It also only lets you do one pin at a time, right? So in Canva, one thing I do a lot is I'll go ahead and I'll just create 25 pins at a time. Oops. To do it, it may not have because I was walking away from it. That's what I get. Let's just do it again. Okay. Publish. So here it only lets you do one at a time. So it just depends on how you're used to working in Canva. If you want to work in Canva directly, I guess leave. Because I think it's going to refresh the page with the new pin. Hopefully. Yeah. See? So, here it is twice. But yeah, so then you could type in the board name, your description, and then just make sure you change the URL to whatever the URL should be. And you add to queue. So you just have to ask them to turn that on. Yeah, so that's the basics of just like getting started scheduling with Tailwind. Another great option with it, and I'm going to go back here so I'm not showing you stuff. Oops. Okay. They do have tribes. So similar to tribes in Board Booster, except these ones aren't nearly as like automatic. So you hit get started with tribes, and it'll just look for some. I'm in the personal finance niche, and there isn't a finance category, unfortunately. So I'll probably just go with this. These two, and health and fitness. Alright. So it'll go and look for tribes for you. I don't really want any of these. Can I just search? Alright, bloggers killing it on Pinterest. Sure, why not, right? Because this is like a blogging productivity website. So I hit join now. Okay, and I'll say, show me the ropes. Again, it's going to walk you through the basics of using tribes just like it did the basics of using Tailwind. So this is the tribes content, how to submit your first pin to tribes. So this part was actually, I remember being a little confused at first. So I'm just going to make sure you know where that's at. So if I go into this one, my drafts, you'll notice there's an add to tribes button here. So that's all you have to click on to add to tribes. It's different. It's not the same thing as adding it to queue. So you'll probably want to do both, add to queue and add to tribes. Okay. So in my first pin, that test pin we did. In tribes schedule, you can see the reshares. And then it's telling you your reach. And so this is the information about the tribe. Now this is important. So if you think tribes are similar to group boards, you want to make sure you're following the rules. So it's telling me who this tribe is for. Right, it's for bloggers who are using quality photography, vertical pins, clear wording, and well-designed image to support one another. And it's a one-to-one tribe. So that means for every pin you add, you need to pin someone else's. And so this is where tribes can be a little tedious. So you can be in up to 5 tribes on the free plan, and pin up to 30 or submit up to 30 pins per month. So it's like one a day. Excuse me. I think on the plus plan you get up to 10 tribes, and I want to say like 80 submissions a month, and you can power up and do even more if you want. You can see there's an option to get plus. But yeah. And then find a tribe. So after you get into that first one, I recommend going to find a tribe because you're going to get a little more information. Fingers crossed, yeah. So if I wanted to look for tribes about affiliate marketing, okay, I can see blogging tips. So you'll notice the activity in this is really good. It does have a lot of members. It looks like Tailwind's one of them. And you have to request to join, so it's not just like a free to join. So it's kind of like applying to group boards, except there's an easy one way to apply type of thing. So when you hit request to join, you can type in your little blurb and hit send. So these ones don't have a lot of activity. I probably wouldn't want to join those. This one's got a good amount of activity. You want at least 4 bars, I'd say. 27 is a pretty good number in terms of number of people posting. Okay, and even these where there's more members, where there's good activity, it's probably worth it. But where you are limited to only 5 tribes, be picky. So that's how you get started. Once you're started, then there's insights. You know, you can look at your board performance just like you would in Board Booster, your profile performance. So that's how you get up and running with Tailwind when you first sign up. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments, and be sure to subscribe to my channel to get updates on whenever I do these tutorial videos and these helpful videos for bloggers. So I will catch you guys next time.